Way to start off the NFL season with a bang. The Detroit Lions upset the reigning Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs the night they get their rings.
Oh, yeah,
they get
right.
the bitter taste of defeat at home by the Detroit Lions. 21-20 is the final. We're at the Mohegan Sun. We're here for the CT Sun, and they are playing the Indianapolis Fever tonight, and so we're hanging out here. We'll be here until 7 o'clock, so come on down and say hello. We got all kinds of stuff to give you. Just like when we were at Bobby V's last night, we got all kinds of nice merch and stuff for you to come say hi. But let's talk about last night's football game. I mean, listen, I don't know what it is with me, but it's just this team. There's something about the Chiefs that I don't like, and I was so happy because the Lions have been so bad for so long that they were able to pull that off.
Kadarius Toney basically put a football in a basket, wrapped it around with a red bow, handed it to the Lions and said, "Here's the ball game." I don't know, man. I'm not impressed with the Lions after last night. I think their defense is great. I think that kid, Aiden Hutchinson, that you heard in the open, I think he is definitely special. I love Montgomery, who scored that last touchdown coming from the Chicago Bears.
I like Gibbs.
I'm a fan of the
Gibbs.
rookie. I think he's going to have a really nice year as a rookie. But, man, I really thought that 2, 3, 4, 5 – I think they dropped like 10 passes last night.
Absolutely. Listen, Toney dropped a couple more. He dropped one over the slant over the middle, right in his hands. He tried to catch it like that. You could tell people you probably can't do that because it went right over his arms. So, he didn't look comfortable. They talked about that as well. But listen, Mahomes did everything he could do.
I thought so too. I thought he played a great game.
He actually did. But minus Travis Kelce, minus Chris Jones, 2 stars on offense and defense. Pay the man.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, you got to pay the dude, get him back out there, because if he's bum rushing Goff all night, it's a totally different story.
I think so, too.
I thought the defense was admirable considering they didn't have that guy. I thought they sacked him. They were pressuring him. They did great all night. To only give up 21 points without Chris Jones, listen, that team will be back in the playoffs and probably be back in the Super Bowl. But for the Lions, great showing when you're the only game on TV. And, I'm still saying, why aren't the Eagles playing? It should be the Super Bowl rematch. But, listen, they're much better. They addressed their weak secondary from last year. Their offense did the job, and the defense took one back for a pick 6. I thought it was a great game for a Thursday night opening night football game.
The final drive was the most impressive thing from the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
That last score with Montgomery, and there's a couple of missed tackles on that drive as well, especially that last one. I just think that the Lions are close and they're getting there. I thought they could have easily been beat last night.
Oh, of course they could have.
But, man, these drop passes just illustrated to me how little time you have in the NFL. Like, you're lucky to get 10 possessions. 10 possessions. And when you have – I think there was a 2nd and 2 moment, and they end up getting stuffed when they run a reverse with Toney.
Yeah.
Then they try to throw and another drop ball, and you go from, like – a second down where usually you go for broke and you try to throw a game breaker over top. But when these guys can't catch the football, there was no one that Mahomes trusted last night besides Pacheco.
Right.
Pacheco, he was like, wherever he's at, that's where I got to go with the ball. If he's covered up, I can't trust
Who's the backup
Sky
tight
Moore.
end? Noah Gray?
No,
he's not awful.
He
has some big catches. But, again, like you said, who is your main guy? Who's your outlet when you're not your wide receivers aren't? It's Travis Kelce. So now you got to go to plan B. And, listen, the running game's not the same as it used to be as well. Tyreek Hill, you used to hand him the ball a lot. But that was 2 years ago. We're well past Tyreek Hill. So when Collinsworth brought him up last night, I'm like, dude, you're bringing up a guy that's already a star on Miami. You're bringing up a guy that's banged up. He'll be back probably next week or the week after. But they're still a great team. The Lions thinking that they're a Super Bowl champ because they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I think it's early. And I think if you play the Chiefs again this season, I think they smoke you.
They had 11 players catch passes last night.
Yep.
To me, that said that
Sky Moore didn't catch one.
He has nowhere to go. He does not know exactly where to go at all times. Right. He's trying to hit the open man, but there's so many people out there that prove to him, Patrick Mahomes, that he can't be trusted. Like, there's so many drops that could have totally flipped this game. It was a 1-point game. I mean, even at the end, when they have the ball on the 40-yard line, that's a completion and a field goal, game
Absolutely.
over. No one could catch the ball.
Tony was 1 for 5, so he had four drops. Sky Moore, he had 3 drops. He was 0 for 3. So between those two guys, 7 drop passes. I mean, and listen,
wow,
Mahomes just keeps throwing it, though. When they were 4th and 20, and then they got another penalty on them, and they got pushed back, I mean, I don't think there's too many teams in the NFL where I'm like, these guys are comfortable 4th and 20. I can count on them to probably pick up the first down on that. Now, 4th and 25, they didn't go for it. They had 2 minutes left, and obviously Detroit was able to run out the clock getting that first down. But for my money, I still think Mahomes, the Chiefs, even without Eric Bieniemy, Mahomes is the guy. Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever laid eyes on.
Yeah, he can create something out of nothing.
But he's so calm.
Very calm.
So calm all the time.
But also just his ability to scramble and get out of the pocket, that is not – it's more scripted. It's more of an art form. It's more practice than what you think. A lot of people see the scramble and him just lobbing it up, or any quarterback, that was a broken down play and somebody missed an assignment. Somebody was trying to run to make the tackle instead of covering their man. When you do a scramble drill in practice – there are 3 different levels that you want. You want something right around 5 yards, something right around 10 to 15, and then something over the top to 20 to 25. You all have to flow with the way the quarterback's running. Every route you're going to run is going to be different when that moment happens. So you could be going the opposite way. This is where Tyreek Hill was the best.
Right.
He'd be going the opposite way, running a corner route towards the left. Patrick Mahomes is flushed out towards his right.
And he'd go find open
Tyreek
space,
Hill
right.
and Patrick Mahomes were on the same page to know. I know exactly what Tyreek's going to do. Knowing that he's running that corner route, he's going to put his foot in the ground and break completely towards the opposite corner of where I'm running to. No one has that chemistry yet with Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce does, but he was on the sideline. I just think that passing game can be so much better. I think that if all those balls get caught last night, it's a blowout. It's a blowout. If 4 of those balls get caught last night, they win. If Tony doesn't gift wrap that interception pick 6, they win. So there are so many ifs, but, If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all be happy kiddos, is how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm happy the Lions won.
Right.
I just think that the Chiefs really lost more than the Lions
I agree.
won.
And, it's emotional. You're getting your rings and your head's somewhere else, and you got to quickly focus. But if I give Detroit credit, what Mike Tirico was talking about, you've had months to think about this. It's been on the schedule. So as you're going through camp, you're thinking about, we got to go to Kansas City, we got to play this team, and we've got to show everybody we're a football team, a good football team. Last year we won 8 of our last 10 games. We got to show people we're more that team than any other team. I felt with all of that thinking going on and dwelling on that game, I give them a lot of credit for what they did. It's not easy, and Kansas City makes it look so easy because they're so good at it. It's the Lions have come a long way under Dan Campbell. That's what I would say. I'm not anointing them Super Bowl champs or even going to the postseason. I think that's a very difficult division. Then I saw Rich Eisen put out some weird tweet that the Lions beating the Chiefs last night closes the curtain on the Green Bay career of Aaron Rodgers. I don't even know what that means. I either that was a drunk tweet or I have no idea what you're trying to say, but how does Aaron Rodgers even come into that conversation?
The one thing I'll say about the Lions, they got some rookies, man. That Gibbs that we already talked about at running back, he's a player. Not only
one of their offensive linemen is a rookie.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
Not only running the football with Gibbs, but he's a receiver, man. He definitely knows what he's doing out there. But the 2 on defense, Brian Branch, who had the pick 6 and ran it back, it was a difficult reach behind that he had to get it one hand. Like, it wasn't just basically handed to him like I'm trying to illustrate with Tony. He did have to make the play, but he played some solid defense in the secondary, too, when they were trying to pick on his side. The other guy, they got this Jack Campbell that plays in the middle that was making great plays, too.
That's the kid with the blonde hair?
Yes, especially in the fourth quarter. Like, big-time stops from that guy. And he got a pass deflection where he had to dive for it. That was an amazing play. They're young. They're young.
They're young and hungry.
I thought last night, too, Campbell proved – he could manage the clock. He could roll the dice when he needed to on some fourth downs. I thought he did some of his best coaching last night that I've seen over his head coaching career. But, it is what it is. Lions 1-0. Kansas City's 0-1 as we move into week 1 of the NFL season.
All right, we're live at the Connecticut, the Mohegan Sun, the home of the CT Sun.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be here for the game. They've got the Indianapolis Fever in town.
I think it's just Indiana. We don't
just Indiana.
In Indiana, Dibs, when it comes to hoops.
Oh, you're going the whole state. That's right.
Yeah, we don't just bottle ourselves up to the capital city. We're so much more than just Indiana. So much more.
So it's the Indiana Fever.
Is it?
I don't know.
Right I'm pretty sure I'm right on that because of the Pacers. And here's another thing.
Indiana, you're correct.
We are in the playoffs.
12-26, Indiana Fever.
We're in the playoffs. However, we have a player on CT Sun who I think should be the MVP in Alyssa Thomas. She has had that run of triple doubles. Yep. She's on top of the pile in the whole league in assists. I think she might be second in assists, second in steals. So she has to play. You can't rest her. But I think for Coach White, it's got to be a decision tonight, and they got a game on Sunday this weekend against the Chicago Sky. In the NFL, you ain't playing. I don't care if you're on an MVP run. You ain't playing. But you were saying, the difference of the WNBA, you got to still promote the league at all costs every single chance you can get. Alyssa Thomas has to play tonight and on Sunday because we need an MVP, man. I think she's so much worthier than – I know everybody's going to hate me for saying this, Breanna Stewart from the Liberty or Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. Those are 2 all-star teams. I love our squad, too. I'll take Dejanay Carrington any day, any time of the week. I love Olivia Nelson-Adota. But the Liberty and the Aces are a straight all-star team. So when it comes to
super teams,
most valuable player, if I take Breanna out, I feel like they're still in the playoffs. If I take Asia out, Vegas Aces are still in the playoffs. If I take Alyssa Thomas out, I don't know where the Suns – I think the Sun might be in last. Not only not in the playoffs, but in last.
Alyssa is first in rebounds ahead of Asia Wilson, 9.9 per game. Asia's 9.6. She's second in assists with 8. Courtney Vandersloot has 8.2. So, I mean, you being in the top 3 in 2 different categories, and like you said, the triple-doubles, what she means to the team – and these other players on these super teams, it's kind of hard, man. I agree with you. I look at MVPs like if I take that person off the team, what's their record?
Right.
How many wins and losses do they equal? Things like that. And so I think she probably equals 10 more wins for the CT Sun a year. And these other players, yes, these other players are amazing, but they're around other great players. I mean, look at Breanna Stewart. She's around 2 of the best players in the world on her team.
Also, Alyssa Thomas leads the league in guns. You ever seen her guns? Dude, she has got some guns. I'd say strongest player in the league. And I love how she leads in rebounds and second in assists. That's like Shaq, man. That's passing it from the post. I know she plays both roles. She's on top of the key.
That's amazing. She's 6'2", 190. She's a guard. I mean, just to do what she's doing is crazy.
Now, she'll get assists on the break, but she'll get assists off those offensive boards that you're talking about. If you haven't seen her play yet, get through this weekend because it's just like Jonquel Jones. I was saying this for 4 years. When it comes to the best Connecticut women's basketball player, it's not at Stores. It was at Mohegan. And now that she is on the New York Liberty, Alyssa Thomas has just stepped up and taken over the head role here for the CT Sun. So I would say get down to see her before it's too late. Hopefully we're talking playoffs, though.
Yeah, her last game, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists, a block, and 6 steals in 37 minutes.
That's
It's quite
filling
a night.
it up. That's filling it up.
That's filling up the stat sheet.
So we'll see what we do with the Fever. The other thing, too, Coach White, her former employer was the Indiana Fever. So I know they've already had a couple of games this season, so that's probably washed away. But still, she wants to beat this team. It's just going to be interesting to see how the lineup goes. If you want to rest anybody in the next 2 days during these homestands to save it for the playoffs, we'll see.
Let's talk about USA losing to Germany in FIBA. I didn't even know Germany played basketball. I thought they were all hockey.
I'll tell you what, man. I saw this halftime score. I think we were up 160-59. I could not believe that we were even that close at halftime, and then we lose the game.
Yeah.
Again, another disappointment for Team USA basketball. They will be in the bronze game, though. They
Consolation
still got a game
game.
to play, but for United States, for men's basketball, it's really gold or nothing, and it's hard to celebrate anything less. I'd have to say that the world has caught up with the Americans in hoops. Our last 3 MVPs in the NBA have been foreigners. Think about that, man. We haven't had an American-born NBA MVP in 3 years. This is not the first time we have been bounced from the FIBA tournament. You know, it's coming around to the point where these all-star teams are lacking some of the chemistry that some of these other countries have when they've been together for a little bit.
And did we really send our best? I mean, listen, some of these guys are all-stars, but Anthony Edwards, Mikal Bridges, and Jalen Brunson are your top 3 scorers.
Yes.
You know, I mean, a lot of our guys are resting up for next season, doing their load management in the off season, getting ready for load management during the season. But, yeah, I mean, we used to send dream teams to play these kind of tournaments. We just don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to, if we're not going to talk these guys to playing in the dunk contest or the all-star game, it's going to be even tougher to get them to go to the FIBA tournament. Anthony Edwards has had a great run in the last month. He's probably been the guy that we have leaned on in order to even move on to the semifinals. But when you look at these other teams, like just Germany, let me bring them up. Hold on. Have you seen their roster yet? We got a bunch of NBA All-Stars that I don't know about. We already said the Wagner brothers from Michigan. That's basically what they're dealing with. Yeah, we did this exercise. They got nobody, man. They've got nobody. They got nobody that you would want to start an NBA franchise with. No
Wagner,
one.
Schroeder, Obst, Thies,
I mean,
Voigtman.
props to Dennis Schroeder. I'll probably be rooting for Germany when they take. It wasn't Canada, Serbia. I don't know. It's just it's wild to think about. I remember back in the 90s when the Dream Team was cleaning up, and even after them, they were cleaning
Former
up.
UConn stud Niels Giffey on their team.
No way! Niels Giffey's on their team.
Unbelievable.
There you go.
How about that action?
Excellent, man. But yeah, 2-point loss today from from USA to Germany. Sad. I'm kind of sad about it. Couldn't believe. I woke up early for a lot of these games.
Tigers finally get back at the Yankees last night with a blowout. Rendon, he got blown up.
Yeah.
7 earned runs. He was torched in less than 4 innings of work against a team with less than 60 wins until last night.
Spencer Torkelson is a real deal Major League Baseball player. He is the best
But he
player
wishes
on
he
the
was
Tigers.
playing on the Dodgers.
When that guy gets hot, it doesn't matter who else is on the team. He had 2 home runs again last night. Did you see their celebration? They put on a Red Wings hockey helmet and hockey puck through
lame.
Yeah. Susan Waldman liked
I'm
it.
kind of
last
over
night.
the celebrations, dude. Just do your job.
I know, especially when you're hitting 250.
you're in the basement of your division. You got 60 wins on the season, and you're celebrating like you're going to the World Series.
But Spencer Torkelson's the real deal.
Yeah, he is.
The Tigers should build around that cat. He has won games by himself. I would say, I don't know what his WAR is, but it's undervalued, especially for the Detroit
Well,
Tigers.
the Yankees are playing a real team tonight. They've got the Brewers coming to town, so let's see how they can
Come
do.
on, Yankees.
Orioles go to Boston, Beantown. They continue the second toughest schedule at the end of the season here in their final 20-something games. So Red Sox got their work cut out for 88 wins for the division-leading Baltimore Orioles. And then, of course, the Mets, they're in Minnesota, and they're holding down last place in their division with 64 wins.
I'm geeked up for this weekend's football, man. G-
Well, we're going to talk some UConn football next hour with Adam Giardino.
Yep, Adam Giardino's supposed to be getting off the plane at Atlanta Airport.
No, he's not with the team. The team can't be showing up right now, right?
Yeah.
The team's just showing
The
up.
team is showing up. It's a quick flight, I know, from Bradley to Atlanta. I think it's 2.5 hours. They're showing up. They'll do a walkthrough tonight. Now, remember, this is a late-night game, so they got a couple extra hours. It's not a noon kickoff. I like it, man. This is what I was used to. Now, the school I went to was dealing with a smaller budget than even UConn's dealing with. But I love the show and go. I hated staying the night over and just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then you finally get to the game and you're almost tired because you've been so anxious you haven't been able to sleep. I like it when you just show and go.
Well, we used to like it. Just put your uniform on and go play. A lot of times we were coming out of a motel in the minor leagues. You just throw it on, get on the bus, and go to the park. But sometimes you also want to get a good night's sleep, which obviously they're thinking they're going to get. They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
How about Kadarius Toney? Got rid of all of his social media accounts, shut down
Today.
Doesn't want to hear the criticism.
When I saw John Ashmead and we were setting up the broadcast desk and we were talking about the game, I said, man, if I was Kadarius Toney, I wouldn't even show up today.
Yeah, Kurt had that information.
See you later.
We'll talk to Kurt
sorry.
a little bit later on when we come back. But we are here at the Mohegan Sun, home of the CT Sun. It's Sun versus the Fever tonight. Woo. Fever bringing up the rear in their division. So should be a good game tonight for the CT Sun. We'll be right back. It's the Rob Dibble Show on Friday. Along with Ben Darnell. Our whole crew is here. Kurt is back in the studio. Thanks for tuning in and keeping us on the air.